Welcome to the Vandal Insider Podcast, presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Get the latest information on University of Idaho athletics you won't find anywhere else. It's all here on the Vandal Insider Podcast, every fan source for all things Idaho athletics. Here's your host, Dennis Patchin.
Welcome to another edition of the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. On this edition, we will talk to head coach Thomas Ford Jr. about what his team did during the bye week, and we'll look ahead to the homecoming showdown this weekend as the Vandals look to get back on track hosting Northern Colorado. Sam Brown from the Vandal defense will also be here to talk about his time at Idaho and this weekend's game. Also joining us on this week's podcast will be one of the newest basketball players on the men's team, Brody Rowbury. We'll be talking about his return to his home state and the exhibition game in Boise next week against Boise State. We'll talk swimming with Ginger Kiefer and golf with Sam Johnson from the men's team. This one will be a lot of fun. After a weekend on the sidelines, the Vandals return to the Kibbe Dome Saturday to host Northern Colorado. For head coach Thomas Ford, he said, after a weekend on the sidelines, the Vandals return to the Kibbe Dome Saturday to host Northern Colorado. For head coach Thomas Ford, he said it was a good time to get a few days to rest.
We did a good job with our scheduling. We gave them really kind of 3 hard days on and then a couple of days off from practice and meetings where they could, be college students for a couple of days, watch a bunch of football on their own, and kind of hang out with their teammates. So I think it was a fine balance between getting the work we needed to get done, but I think the schedule allowed us to really go hard while still giving those guys a little bit of rest and recovery time as well.
The Vandals got some good news on the bye week from the medical staff and some help for a beat-up running back room.
Very excited to get back. We had a great bye week where I thought we were able to get a little bit healthy, especially at running back. I think Eli Cummings should be back this week. He looked really good yesterday in practice, and so we're excited to be back in the Dome. It'll be the first home game in almost a month. It seems like a long time since we've been back in the Kibbe Dome, but we're excited to be in front of our home fans, especially for homecoming, and with a good opponent.
And Ford feels even though this team didn't play a game this past week, they did make progress.
Number one, get healthy. We wanted to make sure that we got some of our guys that have been kind of battling through some injuries and still playing, try to get those guys where they're not battling through those injuries anymore. So getting healthy was number one. But the second thing was we wanted to get back to competing. We wanted to make sure that, yes, we're getting ready for Northern Colorado when we did a bunch of prep work for them, but we also did a lot of good on good where we really got to compete and get some guys that haven't had as many reps get more reps. And again, those reps for those guys are going to pay off in the long run because, again, you're always one play away from moving up that depth chart.
The return home is for the first game in the Dome in almost a month. But it's more than just another home game. It's homecoming. And Ford says don't let the record fool you about Northern Colorado.
Coming off of a bye week as well. Close loss to Idaho State the week previous. Really a 2-3 team that could easily be 3-2 or maybe even 4-1 if the ball bounces their way. They had a really close one against Colorado State that they probably should have won. It came down to a review call that was not in their favor. But again, a well-coached team. Coach Lamb, I think, does a great job at Northern Colorado getting those guys developed, and he's got them playing really hard. So we're excited to have another tough Big Sky opponent coming into the Kibbe Dome this Saturday, and
he knows his team had better be ready and better show up for this one.
Kind of a ball control type of offense, very similar to what we do. They want to kind of try to keep your offense off the field, and so we've got to do a great job again stopping the run. That's going to be first and foremost, and then we've got to limit explosive plays. They definitely want to take a bunch of vertical shots. I think they have a pretty good receiver in number 3, and so just again limiting the explosive plays and really bottling up that run game defensively is going to be key. And then on offense, just winning some one-on-one matchups. They play a lot of man coverage, and so we've got to win some one-on-ones with our receivers and get the ball downfield with our quarterbacks as well, and continue to run the football. I think we've done a great job of that all season, and we've got to continue to do that this week as well.
Taking a closer look at this game, the Vandals should have an advantage in one aspect of the contest.
They've had some issues stopping the run. That's something that I think we can try to play into our favor. I think we've been a very successful running football team all season, and I think that's an area where they have not been as good. I think they gave up 283 yards rushing to Idaho State, who's really more of a pass-happy team. But they do have, again, they play really hard, and I think they do a good job within their scheme.
And it was a good time to get a few days to rest.
We did a good job with our scheduling. We gave them really kind of 3 hard days on and then a couple of days off from practice and meetings where they could, be college students for a couple of days, watch a bunch of football on their own, and kind of hang out with their teammates. So I think it was a fine balance between getting the work we needed to get done, but I think the schedule allowed us to really go hard while still giving those guys a little bit of rest and recovery time as well.
The Vandals got some good news on the bye week from the medical staff and some help for a beat-up running back room.
Very excited to get back. We had a great bye week where I thought we were able to get a little bit healthy, especially at running back. I think Eli Cummings should be back this week. He looked really good yesterday in practice, and so we're excited to be back in the Dome. Be the first home game in almost a month. It seems like a long time since we've been back in the Kibbe Dome, but we're excited to be in front of our home fans, especially for homecoming, and with a good opponent.
And Ford feels even though this team didn't play a game this past week, they did make progress.
Number one, get healthy. We wanted to make sure that we got some of our guys that have been kind of battling through some injuries and still playing, try to get those guys where they're not battling through those injuries anymore. So getting healthy was number one. But the second thing was we wanted to get back to competing. We wanted to make sure that, yes, we're getting ready for Northern Colorado when we did a bunch of prep work for them, but we also did a lot of good on good where we really got to compete and get some guys that haven't had as many reps get more reps. And again, those reps for those guys are going to pay off in the long run because, again, you're always one play away from moving up that depth chart.
The return home is for the first game in the Dome in almost a month. But it's more than just another home game. It's homecoming. And Ford says don't let the record fool you about Northern Colorado.
Coming off of a bye week as well. Close loss to Idaho State the week previous. Really a 2-3 team that could easily be 3-2 or maybe even 4-1 if the ball bounces their way. They had a really close one against Colorado State that they probably should have won. It came down to a review call that was not in their favor. But again, a well-coached team. Coach Lamb, I think, does a great job at Northern Colorado getting those guys developed, and he's got them playing really hard. So we're excited to have another tough Big Sky opponent coming into the Kibbe Dome this Saturday, and
he knows his team had better be ready and better show up for this one.
Kind of a ball control type of offense, very similar to what we do. They want to kind of try to keep your offense off the field, and so we've got to do a great job again stopping the run. That's going to be first and foremost, and then we've got to limit explosive plays. They definitely want to take a bunch of vertical shots. I think they have a pretty good receiver in number 3, and so just again limiting the explosive plays and really bottling up that run game defensively is going to be key. And then on offense, just winning some one-on-one matchups. They play a lot of man coverage, and so we've got to win some one-on-ones with our receivers and get the ball downfield with our quarterbacks as well, and continue to run the football. I think we've done a great job of that all season, and we've got to continue to do that this week as well.
Taking a closer look at this game, the Vandals should have an advantage in one aspect of the contest.
They've had some issues stopping the run. That's something that I think we can try to play into our favor. I think we've been a very successful running football team all season, and I think that's an area where they have not been as good. I think they gave up 283 yards rushing to Idaho State, who's really more of a pass-happy team. But they do have, again, they play really hard, and I think they do a good job within their scheme.
The Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. As the Vandals team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor cares for elite athletes, weekend warriors, and everyone in between. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. We are now joined by defensive lineman Sam Brown. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
When does it hit you that this is your last year, or has it hit you?
Well, it hit me big time, first Big Sky game, taking an unfortunate loss to Montana, just going, man, I'm never going to get this back. I'm never going to be able to come back here and win the Brownstein, while being on the field. So that sucked. But I think every game going forward, it's kind of a blessing also because it gives you that extra incentive to leave everything else out there.
It's one of those things you want to remember. but it's one of those things you can't dwell on because there's so much still left to play for. You have 7 games. You have a chance to go to the play. I mean, there's all kinds of things out there. So how do you embrace it kind of to remember get the memories but not dwell on it?
Yeah, well, the cool thing about where we are right now is everything we want is still ahead of us. You know, we still got a shot to win the Big Sky, and we still got a shot to go play and win for a national championship. So that gives you confidence. You just gotta know that you gotta fix the mistakes and come back the next week and put on a show and go out and win, and that way you can stay on track.
You've been here a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, I mean, you know, the beginning wasn't great because of the COVID and all the things you had to go through and the things. But because of that, you've got an extra year.
Yeah, well, I'm one short of COVID year, so I'm just a true 5th year red shirt.
So you didn't have that extra time.
Nope. I mean, I had my own complications with trying to get a spot on the team with all the guys staying around, but that's a whole nother thing.
We'll talk about that. Talk about the struggles of being a young guy, and then all of a sudden everybody in front of you gets the extra year.
Yeah, well, coming out of high school, and I don't know, you know, you never know. You can only hypothesize about what would have happened if, you know, some of those guys that got the extra year had left. But, you know, it kind of forced me in a position where I had to take a risk and walk on to somewhere that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pay for school. You know, fortunately, it was just the 1 year. But yeah, so that was stressful in itself. Like, if I wasn't able to earn myself a scholarship, I would have got my degree and been out of here because I wouldn't have been able to pay to play football. So that was a challenge in itself. But yeah, I was blessed with that adversity. I think it forced me to really take advantage of that time I had as a freshman and come in like I had something to prove and something to earn.
The fact that you had to pay to go to school to start, that's not an easy decision. I mean, that's a decision that isn't just where am I going to go to school or what classes am I going to take. Yeah. That's a long-term decision. I mean,
totally.
You have to sit down with your family and that whole thing. Just talk us through that whole situation of making that decision. How hard was it to make that decision? And then did you feel like when you got here, you were on borrowed time?
Yeah, it's all of those things. I kind of going into looking at college as an option is I knew I wanted to play football, but I didn't know if I wanted to really get a degree from any university. I was thinking about going the trades route, becoming an electrician or something. So that was kind of the big dilemma where it was like, do I go do this route, which I can start now, or do I pursue football and potentially get a degree that isn't really the path I want to go? Since then, I've changed and I've gotten really into the business school and gotten my MBA. But you know, in high school, looking at it, it was you know, how much do I really love football? How much am I willing to put on the line in order to make my dreams come true as far as football went? So that was.
So how much do you love football now that you made that decision?
I love it a lot. I think I might have had a stretch there of 6 months where I didn't know if I loved it as much as I thought. You know, that first freshman year fall camp's pretty brutal. And you're not seeing the field and everybody's stronger than you and beating you up. And so at least for me, there's a few guys that can get past that. But
how did you stick with that then?
I think it was just kind of going back to the character I wanted to have and the things I wanted the foundation of my life to be based on, really. And that's just, you know, things like finish what you start and perseverance and resilience. And last year it actually kind of became one of the pillars of our D-line group, but we talked about being relentless a lot and just kind of craving the end result so bad that the work became irrelevant. And in saying that, it kind of describes not that the work doesn't matter or all that stuff, but the suffering through it doesn't matter because you want to get to where you want to get to. So,
when do you graduate, or have you graduated?
Yeah, I graduated with my bachelor's. Geez, it's been maybe a year and a half. It was spring 23,
Okay,
24,
so you were on an accelerated path. Didn't take you the 4 years to get your degree.
No, I got my AA while I was in high school, and that kind of
fast-tracked you, didn't it?
Yeah, I came in as a junior academically, so I was able to kind of extend my school, not have to be so heavy load the first couple years. And, right now I got one class so for my master's degree, my MBA. And so it's been pretty smooth. I've enjoyed it a lot, actually, more than I thought I would.
So now that you have traveled the path, you have one degree in your pocket, you're going to get a second degree in your pocket, knowing what football was, knowing what you had to make a decision on, maybe not what you thought you wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Totally. And I think, I'll talk to old football players or, really just people that did sports in general, not just college sports, but high school sports, and just the lessons it teaches you. It's the things that I don't know if I'd be able to replicate, like, maybe not being able to sleep one night, having trouble falling asleep, staying up by, getting all stressed out that I can't fall asleep, and it's now 2 a.m. and I got to wake up at 5 a.m. And it's like, so you think about, oh man, I might need to call in sick, and it's just that pushing through and falling back on what you said your character was, and doing it anyways. And I'm sure you could replicate it in the real world, but that's just something that I take from football, and that's just one small thing that is just such a blessing that it would be hard to replicate in other ways.
So having graduated already and playing football and playing it at a high level, how hard is the whole package to get through? The studying, and we think about football as a fall sport, but it's not. It's 12. Yeah. It's I always said football's a 15-month sport in a 12-month calendar year.
Yeah.
You're trying to cram that all in, but I mean, how did you do it? How did you figure it out?
Well, I mean, you definitely got to take advantage of the for me, I always enjoyed the time outside with friends or with family, and really taking advantage of that, and knowing that you're not just a football player, and there's other aspects of your life that you got to handle. But when you're in it, you're in it, and making it a priority is tough to do all the time, really. The balancing act's tough. I don't know if I have any secrets. It's just kind of that it's like short-term, enduring the short-term sacrifices or difficulty to achieve. I mean, a lot of the greatest memories of my life are after big wins and big moments, and even just in the locker room. So it's kind of it's all the sacrifice and enduring the pain, and you get an equal, if not greater, reward on the other side. And I think once you get that reward, it kind of makes it all worth it. And it's something that is kind of a repetitive cycle, and it's coming. You don't know when, and but that's kind of been the thing. It's always the roller coaster of the journey is really just kind of the best part to me.
Sam Brown's a 17-year-old kid in high school playing his last high school football season, thinking about playing college football. What's the best piece of advice you could give young Sam Brown that nobody gave you? Is there anything that was like, I wish somebody would have told me this?
Yeah, I wish. I don't want to swear, but
no, don't swear.
I'm not going to swear.
Okay,
but I was kind of being a jack butt in high school.
A jackass?
Like. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Jackass is a fine word.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like, and maybe that wouldn't have been perceived, but now looking back, I'm like, man, like my ego, I think, was a little too big for where I was, and a lot of college ball will humble you a little bit, and so I wish somebody that I trusted just told me that I wasn't there yet, and I found out quickly, but I wish. All the advice I give every young guy is like something along the lines of just trust this journey, and you're going to get there eventually, and be patient and listen to what your coaches tell you. And if you're not where you are now, you'll get there eventually. And I think I just kind of felt like I had already arrived when I hadn't. And so that's really kind of probably the biggest advice I would give to myself is just be patient, take every bit of coaching you can, and don't get down on yourself for failing this time. Like you got to go through these trials to get to where you want to be.
I got 2 questions left. The first one, be honest here, does homecoming matter to a guy playing in the football game? Because it's homecoming week this week.
Yeah, well, I think the celebration, you don't really get to be a part of it. I mean, what's going on, and
well, hold on. You don't get to be a part of a lot of things in college when you're playing a sport.
Absolutely. For me, the best part about homecoming is just having all the old alumni come back, and some guys you played with, some guys that played well before you, and so that part matters to me. And it's kind of the looking at history, and I mean, I went to just to explain what I mean. Like over this last bye week, I got the opportunity to go back and go to a high school football game, and it was awesome for me. And I can imagine these guys coming back that played here at the University of Idaho, come back and just love seeing the evolution of the program and the success of the guys, vicariously through them. And so in that way, to me, it really does matter. I honestly couldn't tell you all the other stuff that goes on outside of the football game itself, but
it's not in your
I'd like to think that everybody has a good time over homecoming.
You will enjoy it next year because it doesn't fit into your time frame.
Yeah.
And the other thing is all the old guys who come back for a game, they all think they got one more snap in them. They all do. So you're going to think that when you come back next year. All right. This is completely foreign from what we've all talked about. It's the last question I have. You and some of the – well, I don't know if you convince guys to do this. You guys all dyed your hair at the beginning of the season. All the Rush guys, right? Dyed their hair.
Yeah.
And I told you when I saw you out there, you look great. Your hair looked great. The rest of those guys look like Q-tips. I mean, they were just they look bad. Tell us the genesis of that.
Yeah.
And did you have a part? How big a role was it? Were you in that?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my idea. I actually can't remember whose idea it was, but it was something we had sort of made to personify wouldn't be the right word, but
bond the group together, kind of
totally like
we're all in together.
Yeah, exactly. And so somebody had this idea. The idea was that you were going to bleach your hair and buzz it, and I got too good a flow not to buzz this off.
Yeah, you are right.
And I'm kind of wishing I didn't have all this blonde hair right now, to be honest with you. Might need to go get a haircut, but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just seeing the buy-in of the guys, over a dumb thing like that. It's just everybody's in that room in particular, but everybody on the team is there for each other, and when they'll put their looks aside or whatnot for team bonding or for buy-in, it's really kind of cool. As silly as it was, it really meant a lot to me. Just seeing everybody take that step. There's not really a whole lot more to it than that. I think we're all struggling with the blonde hair still being in our hair.
It's Sam Brown and the Q-tips is what it is. You guys are a band or something like that. So was there no girlfriend said, no, don't do that?
Well, so my fiance actually dyed my hair, so she did not do you wrong, okay? Yeah.
Some of those other guys look like they got upside down and dipped in a tub.
Most of those guys don't have girlfriends. That's probably the problem.
That's why I asked you if you had anything to do with that thing. So it's been fun. It's been great to be part of your life, both when you were in high school and at the University of Idaho. It's always great to talk to you. Thanks for being on our podcast.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Idaho is back in the Dome this weekend to start a stretch of 7 games in 7 weeks. And it starts with homecoming as the Vandals welcome Northern Colorado. Our pregame show will start at 1 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, kickoff 1 hour later, live from Moscow on your favorite Idaho Vandal radio station. This Vandal Insider podcast is presented by England Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. When he's not caring for the Vandals as team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor provides the same MVP orthopedic care to our entire region. At Inland Orthopedics, our team is your team. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider podcast. We are now joined by one of the newest faces on the Idaho men's basketball team, but he's not a new face if you're familiar with high school basketball in the state of Idaho. Brody Rowbury joining us. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fabulous. What's it like to being back home playing?
It's amazing. That was the whole goal when I hit the transfer portal, is to come back home, closer to my family. So it's just been amazing.
You had spent 3 years at Southeast Louisiana. Obviously, Southeast Louisiana is not Idaho.
No,
how did you wind up at Southeast Louisiana?
So out of high school, I'm a class of 2021 graduate. One day I was sitting at my high school in the auxiliary gym, running the clock for an AAU tournament, and I got this phone call from one of the coaches at the time, assistant at Southeastern Louisiana, and I went outside, took the phone call, and he was like, "Yeah, we like your game, whatever, but we don't really have any." It was mid-COVID time. Everybody was getting their eligibility back, so he was like, "We don't really have a spot for you or anything, but I would like to – have you ever heard of postgrad?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what that is." I was probably about to go JUCO, and he got me in contact. He had been at this postgrad/high school, Sunrise Christian Academy, before previously, so he got me in contact with them out of Wichita, Kansas, and went that route, and then they recruited me out of there. So.
Okay, so a kind of not a straight line route to Southeast Louisiana. First of all, did you know what town Southeast Louisiana was in?
No, I didn't even know like what division they were, what conference they were, or anything. When I got the phone call, I had to have him like explain to me where they were and all types of different stuff because I had never heard of them.
And then he's telling you got to go someplace else. Was there any point in your mind that you said, maybe I shouldn't do this? Maybe I should go back to my original plan?
No, because I was still up in the air about where I was going to go and everything. I didn't realize the whole process of postgrad and like how you don't burn a year of eligibility or anything. You just kind of do some little classes on the side and basically just play basketball all day, every day. So I had never been introduced to that concept or anything. I just thought that if you didn't go Division I, Division II, Division III, you went JUCO or whatever. So it was good for me overall, and I'm happy with what I did. So
okay, so you got the call during the AAU tournament. I got to ask you, did you just get up and leave? Did you tell these people I got to go take this phone call?
Yeah, so I was actually just working the clock just for my school. I was just running the scoreboard, and it was like perfect timing. It was right in between games, and
okay. It wasn't like it was in the third quarter.
It was right in between games, and the other team was warming up, and I had one of my other teammates sitting right next to me, and I was like, I don't know who this is. Let me go take this call really quick. So I just walked out the back door, and it was a good timing. So
now it's could have come up spam. You would have maybe never taken a phone call.
Sure.
When you left Idaho, you went to school at Meridian High School. When you left Idaho, did you ever think you'd be back to play collegiately in the state, or did that kind of shut the door on that dream?
No, I really honestly never thought that I would be back in Idaho. Originally, like, I'm a very loyal guy, so my plan was go post-grad, whatever happened out of there, go to Southeastern, and like I was planning on staying there 4 years. I thought it would be awesome if I could get the chance to either go up a level or come back closer to home, but I was so content with everything that I had there. I was playing a lot. I loved my coaching staff. I loved my teammates, so I was content on staying there, and then the switch just turned, and we decided to make the decision. So,
did you reach out to Idaho? Did Idaho reach out to you? To walk us through once you put your name in the transfer portal, because that seems like the Wild West.
Yeah, so come later on in the season, I had thoughts that maybe I was going to transfer, maybe not. I was all in on Southeastern. Don't get that twisted. Like, I was all in on winning there and finishing up my junior year. But there was a thought that it would be cool to get back closer to home. So I had reached out to some of my old AAU coaches who ended up knowing Coach Laird and Coach Pribble and a couple other Division I schools throughout the country and whatever. And so they started throwing my name out just a little bit just to see what people thought and different things like that. But I didn't know if it would end up working out or not, but I'm glad it did.
So obviously they knew, the Vandal coaching staff knew what you could do. But there's a bunch of guys on this roster from the state of Idaho that I'm sure you either played with at some point or played against at some point. Did you pick up the phone call once Idaho said, hey, we're interested in you? Did you call Colton? Did you call Jack? Did you call Titus? I mean –
no, I did. Well, so me and Jack talk every now and again. We've stayed in contact because my freshman year we played him when he was at Colorado State. So we had stayed in contact a little bit. And so he was one of the first ones, and he was like, we want you here and that type of thing. The rest of the guys I didn't really have a too strong of a relationship with. I've obviously played against all of them in AAU or high school, but yeah.
So Colton, do you even talk to Colton? Because I know that you guys in the weight room today, when I was down there, were giving each other the business. You beat him in the state tournament. I mean, obviously you can talk to him because you won that game. Does he even say anything to you?
He brings it up every so often how he's mad at me that we beat him in the state championship, but it's all love now. So.
Yeah. When you look at this roster, there's a very good chance that this team is going to start 4 Idaho natives in the starting lineup if Jackson Rasmussen continues to develop. Is that kind of mind-boggling to you that 4 in-state guys could be starting on the same Division I college basketball team?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it just shows that we have some hidden gems here in Idaho that can play at a high level, and Coach Bribb's done a good job of keeping those guys in the state of Idaho and either bringing them back through the transfer portal, recruiting them from high school. So it's been awesome.
6'11", 255 pounds, obviously a post guy. Are you a back-to-the-basket guy? Let people know what your game is like a little bit.
Yeah, back to the basket. I'll step out and shoot the ball here and there. But, yeah, mainly back to the basket. But I can knock down a 3.
Yeah. You got to now, don't you? Any more? At 6'11", obviously going to rebound the basketball. That's some dirty work. You like that?
Yeah, I enjoy it. So
I wish you could have seen it, the smile popping up on Brody's face when he said, yeah, I like that. What's the feeling now that you're part of this team? You jumped in here, a lot of guys back from last year, high expectations from a team that was in the Final Four in the Big Sky tournament last year. What's the feeling for you coming into this team?
It's been great. Just having, I think we have 9 returners. So just the culture is so strong here, and, just bringing in some older, more experienced guys like myself, Biko, there's a few of us that have played a lot of years of Division I basketball. So adding that to the pieces that they had from last year and just the strong culture that we have here, it's been great.
Ironically, this game doesn't count, but the first time anybody can see you in an Idaho uniform will be miles away from where you grew up. Yep. As next week, Idaho will play Boise State in an exhibition game that is open to the public. What's that going to be like, to play your first game in an Idaho uniform down there?
It's going to be great. All the fam will be there. All my close friends, close family will be in attendance. So, and just to play, the hometown school, Boise State, is just a dream come true. So.
Are you having to scrounge tickets for your guys, or did you tell everybody you're on your own?
They're gonna make sure that I'm well taken care of, and okay. People that have texted and called, I'm gonna try to take care of them as much as I can. So,
the season is here, but it's not here, if that makes any sense. Yeah. How do you be careful in continuing the preparation, continuing the work for the game that really counts, the first game of the year, which is at Washington State in 3 weeks from now?
Yeah, it's a tough time of the year, 20-hour practices. We've been beating up on each other for weeks and weeks and weeks now, so there tends to be some frustration in that, but we have a tight-knit group that just battles and wants to make each other better every single day. So, we just come in, do our job, go to work, make each other better, and ultimately that just makes the team better. So,
Brody, I always ask everybody this. Where are you in school, and what do you want to do when basketball is over?
So I'm going to graduate in the spring. After basketball, I honestly don't have any idea what I want to do. I'm getting my business administration degree, so we'll see where that takes me.
Yeah. Well, you're young. You got time, right?
I guess.
That sounds like either your mom or your dad's been saying, Brody, you only got a year left in college, right?
Yeah, it's time to make up my mind, I guess.
Well, we're certainly glad that you're here back in the state. We appreciate you coming on, and good luck this week. And a reminder, we will have the Boise State, Idaho game, exhibition game for you on your favorite Vandal radio station. Our pregame show will start at 6:30 Pacific. We'll start at 5:30 Pacific, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then Mountain Time Zone. It'll be 6:30 with the pregame show, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. So we certainly hope you can join us for that, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Today's Vandal Insider Podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. As the Vandals team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor cares for elite athletes, weekend warriors, and everyone in between. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. We are now joined by Sam Johnson, a member of the men's golf team. Thanks for being here. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I usually ask this later on why Idaho, how'd you get here, but not many people are from England. So how in the world did you wind up at Idaho?
Just starts back from the recruitment process back in England. And then Coach David Noon got in touch with me. I wasn't speaking to many schools, I'll be honest, but I just fell in love with the place, fell in love with the program, the school, and him himself, and what they wanted for the team and what they stood for.
Was college on your radar? I mean, were you graduating high school? Was college on your radar? Were you going to college, and then that's how you got involved with Idaho, or did it just kind of come out of nowhere?
No, it was something that I always wanted to do since I was about 14. So this was a dream of mine.
To come to the U.S. to go to school?
Yes, sir.
Where did that dream come from?
I just heard great things about it. I mean, the college system here in the States is just so much better than what we get back in the UK and Europe. So, and it was just it's a great stepping stone towards professional golf and just other things in life. So,
when they said you're coming to Moscow, did you think, I thought I was going to the United States? I didn't think I was going to Russia. I mean, was that what popped in your head when they said that?
Wrong country. I'm surely I'm going to be going the other way. But yeah, it was obviously, regardless of the name of the place, it's very close, or what feels close to home, very similar to what I'm used to back home. So it's it's a home away from home for sure, Moscow.
Where did you grow up in England?
Just south of Manchester.
Okay. So then I'm going to sidetrack here. City or United?
Neither. Liverpool.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now you got to fight two different people in your town, right?
I have. Yeah. My dad, he was like, if you want to live under the same roof as me, you're supporting Liverpool Football Club. So.
Well, you wanted to eat and then have a nice place to sleep, right?
Absolutely.
That makes perfect sense to me. Why golf? How did golf come into your life?
Just one day, saw my dad just hitting a few balls in the back garden, and I just took it up like that and just started going at it a little bit. And growing up, I played loads of different sports like soccer, rugby, other things that you get in the UK, and eventually golf just sort of took over. That's what I was mostly interested in, and that's what I was best at anyway.
You didn't play rugby long. Your nose is pretty straight.
Yeah, didn't play rugby long, so I wasn't big enough for rugby. There's some big guys that playing that sport.
Were you one of those people that golf came naturally, or were you one of those people that you had to work to become to where you are?
I think it came naturally. Yeah, I think I'm pretty fortunate to say that it came naturally. And, obviously, regardless of how naturally it comes, that's like 5-10% of what you are as a golfer. The rest is hard work. So
most people who will listen to this podcast have played a round of golf at minimum, and knocked it around a municipal course and shot 120, and said, "Hey, I had a good time." What's it like to stand at a tee box in a college tournament where you're not you're trying to shoot half of 120 something?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's nice. It's a nice feeling stepping up on that first tee box and being confident and knowing that you could shoot a really good score. A score that only people dream of shooting. So
when did it pop into your head that, in your head, not somebody telling you, but in your head, I think I'm pretty good at this game?
I guess just like sort of growing up and, playing with a bunch of kids my age and just shooting better scores, and, I was just into it a lot more, and, it's just a different level. And I was playing for my county, representing my club at a young age, and, playing a lot of men's stuff, like at the age of 12. So just sort of like basically growing up quick at a young age. So.
Okay, so you're one of those young guys that golfers hate because you were so good so young. I mean, it's like if you go skiing and that little 10-year-old is flying by you on the hill. It's like, I hate that kid because he's better than I am.
Yeah.
Do you have a funny moment when you were 12 when you were beating somebody like that?
Yeah, I represented my club that I'm a member at. I think I was the youngest ever player to represent the first team, and coming up against 40-year-olds who have been playing for longer than I've been alive, and beating them pretty good, and seeing the sour faces on their faces was something that just drove me on. So,
can you explain England, Great Britain golf to us? Why there's such a passion there? It's it was invented in there. So I mean, explain the passion to us that Americans maybe don't understand.
I guess just it's a big part of our lives, especially for kids wanting to come over to the States and doing the college career. Like, this is a dream for us. This isn't just another thing in life. Moving halfway across the world is something big. It's not something that you take for granted. It's an opportunity to grow, and it's something that we really cherish later on in life as well.
Okay, I'm going to use the term correctly here. When you told your mom, I'm going to America, how was that?
Obviously a little bit shocked, but very, very grateful for my parents. They were both very supportive. They were almost sort of in moments of times where I wasn't so sure. They were like, no, this is something that you need to do, something that you should do. This is going to be like one of the best experiences of your life. So yeah, they helped push me forward and helped me massively getting over her.
When you play golf, a lot of times there aren't a whole lot of people out there, even with college golf.
Yeah.
You walk into the dome here and you see a football game and there's 12,000 people and they're screaming and yelling. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to play golf under those circumstances where people are screaming and yelling? You're in a stadium?
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. Yeah, definitely.
You think it would be?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely growing up from like a soccer environment where it's sort of a similar thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously, yeah, it would be pretty cool. Obviously, I like the energy from the crowd and stuff.
Why don't you think we haven't seen something like that?
I guess just golf. That's just golf how it works, It's but I mean, if you look at the Ryder Cup recently.
Well, that is a completely different breed of cat, and the Americans were not very kind to the Europeans. So shame on us. But you talk to guys who played in the Ryder Cup. That's not golf. That's an event.
Yeah, that is an event. So. Obviously, if you watch it majors and stuff, people are getting excited, like the Masters, for instance.
Right.
People are just getting excited and stuff. So it's not all quiet. it's like obviously that it is portrayed maybe on TV.
The waste management in Scottsdale is a party. Is kind of the stadium kind of. Would you enjoy that? Do you think?
Yeah, I would. It just takes the seriousness out of it a lot. So, I'm pretty unserious in most situations anyway. So I like just the messing around kind of side.
I usually ask the student athletes when we get them on the podcast, when your sport is over, what are you going to do? Football players, basketball players. A lot of sports you're done in college, or certainly you don't play. Golf is not that way.
Yeah.
You got people that are 90 years old still playing golf. So how does golf fit into your future? Is it your profession, or is it what you've used to get an education for a different profession?
I will give professional a go. Give myself like 2-3 years or something like that. See how far I get. If it works out, great. But I've accepted the fact that if I don't make it, I don't make it. So.
But being a professional golfer we all think you're a professional golfer. You're playing on a tour.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of other things to be a professional golfer. You can be a club pro. You can be a teaching pro. So, I mean, is golf part of that future, or is it if I can't play on tour, then I'll do something else?
Just tour playing.
Okay.
That's it for me. Yeah. Club professional, I've got no interest in that or anything like that. So, or teaching professional. So, yeah, I've got no interest. I only want to play golf.
Yeah. But you will still continue to play golf. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what.
How old you are.
Oh, yeah.
When's the first time you beat your dad? Do you remember?
Oh, I must have probably, I want to say 8 years old or something like that. So.
Okay, sorry. Apologies to your dad, but your dad wasn't a very good golfer then. Or you were unbelievable at 8 years old, one of the two.
My dad's a good golfer.
Is he?
Yeah, my dad's a good golfer. Yeah, I think he's got a handicap of like 6 right now.
And you beat him when you were 8?
I think so, yeah. So.
Even if you were 9, that's crazy.
Yeah. And there's still today no better feeling than beating my dad.
You know what? That's a son talking about dad. You guys are off to a great start on this team.
Yep.
Why? And there's a bunch of guys from your home country.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, a bunch of guys, and I feel like it's a big part of it is like who you surround yourself with that contributes towards your success. There's a bunch of internationals, mostly from England, and we all want the same thing. We all want to be successful, whether that looks like winning or just, getting a day done. But, we all push ourselves individually and as a team as well.
How do you play an individual sport, but you're part of a team? How is that dynamic for you?
You just got to focus on yourself. It's an individual sport, and you just got to try and keep it that way, and not let the pressure mount up from the team aspect of it. So it's, if you get your job done, it will contribute towards the team, and, you can only do so much. You can only do your part. So, and your part, fortunately, doesn't really affect anyone else's and how their individual aspect is going.
Don't say anything negative or positive, the name, but can you get a decent fish and chips anywhere in the area?
Around here?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
I appreciate that. Because I don't. Yeah, but good. Yeah, it's a completely different thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're in America, and 2, we're nowhere near the ocean in Idaho. So.
Yeah. True. That. Yeah, and trout, fish and chips is not something you want to do either. So. Sam, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Continued success. I know you guys are off to a great start. Looking for a lot of big things. Do you like fall golf better than spring golf? Does it matter?
Doesn't really matter. I mean, I'll just love it all.
Yeah, as long as you're playing, right?
As long as I'm playing, practicing.
Good thing there's no winter golf, though, right?
Yeah, correct.
The fall season underway. The spring season is where champions are won, and we appreciate you, Sam Johnson, coming on the Idaho Vandal podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This Vandal Insider podcast is presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Poland. When he's not caring for the Vandals as team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Matt Taylor provides the same MVP orthopedics care to our entire region. At Inland Orthopedics, our team is your team. Welcome back to the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. Now joining us on the show is the person you want next to you if your boat sinks in the river or on the lake, because she's the best open water swimmer I know. Ginger Kiefer's here from the Idaho Vandal women's swim team. How are you?
I am amazing. Very happy to be here.
I tease, but I don't, because you're headed to an open water championship swim coming up this week.
Yes, I am.
That you won last year.
Yep. Round two.
How in the world, first of all, how different is it swimming in open water? I know this is like a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I want your than swimming in a pool.
Man, it could not be more different. It is just a completely different. I mean, it's honestly easier to say what's similar, and that's just the stroke of freestyle. It's an hour-long race. The longest you can even get, or the closest you can even get to that in a pool, is 20 minutes. So just that alone, 3 times longer than any race you could possibly do in a pool. And then you've got the challenge of being outside. When you are in a pool, collegiate season, we mostly compete indoors. So no wind, no choppy water. It's chlorinated water. You go outside. If you're in the ocean, salt water, which is actually an advantage. You get the buoyancy, which is great. And I believe where we're going, that's salt water. When I went to Florida last year, it was fresh, but MPSF is salt water, so that's great. You can get a little bit of suit burn, which is rough, so you got to put a ton of Aquaphor on your straps so you don't come out bleeding, which unfortunately I did last year. But yeah, it is totally different.
There's 1,000 questions that are running through my mind right now. When your coach comes to you and says, this is something, well, let me phrase that. Does Mark say, this is something we're doing, or does he say, is this something you'd like to do? So not everybody on your team is going to this.
Yeah, correct. So it is offered to the distance group of our team, just because that, like I was saying, the longest race you can get in a pool is 20 minutes, but on the complete opposite end, there are people who only swim a 20-second race. So if you're swimming a 20-second race, swimming an hour-long race might not be the best.
So you're calling the sprinter soft, right? You're kind of throwing that out there, right?
I mean, I don't sprint. It's a different. You can think of it in 2 ways, I guess. You can think of it as a 20-second race, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, the 20-second race. But then I'm also like, I'm not good at the 20-second race, so that means it must be hard, right? Yeah. And sprinting is very uncomfortable. It is a challenge. I love what I do. I could not sprint. So I do have respect for the sprinters.
Okay, so you called them out, but then you backtracked a little bit.
Yeah, I can't say anything too bad, but that is a big we butt heads, not really here. Everyone gets along great here, but definitely on my club team it was like, man, the distance swimmers against the sprinters
group, then there's the distance group, and then there's the crazy diver group, right?
Absolutely. And I don't even know what the divers do. Man, that also could not be more different.
Well, they're like goaltenders in hockey. It's like or left-handed relief pitchers. It's a special breed that if you try to figure it out, you're just going to make yourself crazy.
Yeah, I like to talk about it like track and field, they're like the runners and then throwing a javelin, like very different.
Yeah. All right. How did you get good in long distance swimming, which is related to now open water swimming for you?
Well, I definitely had experience open water swimming. I did some competitions age group, and then I always swam on vacation with my mom, swam in the river over COVID. But really, there is not much that I specifically did. I mean, I guess like swimming my whole life gave me endurance, but just having general endurance, and then I did have a little bit of a background in open water swimming.
It's funny because I remember we had you on the program last year, before you went, maybe after you won it. I can't remember. We had you on last year, and one of the things you talked about you and your mom going for swims.
Yes.
And you kind of liked it like going for a hike.
Yes.
But everybody who I talk to after listening to the podcast, well, how do you, if you're hiking, you kind of are talking. How do you talk while you're swimming?
You don't. It's just the general, like, oh, let's go for a swim. I don't know. And that is the thing about swimming is you don't talk a lot. Our coach likes to make this joke that a conversation will take the whole entire practice because you're only on the wall for 5 seconds and you can say 2 words in that 5 seconds. So you get 2 words, swim for a minute, 2 words, swim for a minute. So a whole conversation can take a whole 2-hour practice.
Now, swimming comes naturally too, but it also comes hereditary.
Yes.
Your grandfather won an Olympic gold medal in the Berlin Games in 1936.
Correct.
When you get ready to get into the pool, do you always think about your grandfather? Does it always pop into your head? Sometimes race before races?
I wouldn't say so necessarily. If there's anyone I think of, it's my mom. I did grow up by my great-grandfather, but then I moved. But honestly, my mom has been the most prominent swim figure in my life. But it does, I'm at the pool, and it's like going behind a block, and the block has my last name on it. So that is definitely a confidence boost. Like at swim meets, when I walk on deck and I'm looking at the blocks, and I'm like, oh, yeah, like this is my place. This is where I'm meant to be. So it can be, if that does pop into my head, huge confidence boost.
Did you have a chance to play any other sport, or is swimming so ingrained in your family that this is what we do?
Yeah, no, I did not have a chance. That is what I was put in, and it worked out that I loved it. My brother was also put into swimming, but he doesn't swim anymore. What does he do? He pole vaults and rock climbs. So very different. But yeah, he definitely had a battle to get out of swimming a little bit.
He's a pole vaulter and a rock climber?
Yes.
He's over there with the goaltenders, the divers, the left-handed relief pitchers.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a key to getting in open water and swimming for an hour? Because that tells me physically you have to be ready, but everybody else is. But that tells me who wins this. It overcomes the mental portion of this.
Absolutely, and I think that just goes for any sport. Swimming in the pool, mindset is huge, and that is one of the biggest things I have learned, especially being here, is just how much your mind can change a swim. Like I think back to my mid-season meet last year, and in a 200-yard race, my prelims, I wasn't in the best headspace, didn't go the best time. Finals, I think I came out with like the fastest time in the conference, and it was just like talking to my coach, getting in the right headspace. Same day, 5 hours later, not much had changed, and it's just your mindset. So it's absolutely huge.
What's the farthest distance you have ever swam?
Like open water or in a practice?
I'm going to say open water, because I got to think that if an hour swim in the open water, which you did last year, I don't know how far that is, but unless you're being punished, there's no way they can make you swim that long in a pool.
I mean, straight, yeah, the open water race is definitely, I've never swam an hour straight because you don't stop. In a pool, we usually, I would say a 5K is about a standard practice, but that's like a 2-hour. You're not swimming an hour straight. So I would say the 5K race.
Okay. How far will you swim? How far did you swim last year to win? Do you remember mileage?
It's 3.14.
Okay. So, and that's the same this
yeah.
Is that the standard distance? Is that the Olympic distance? Because open water swimming is now an Olympic sport.
Yes. So I don't know the exact distances, but 5K is the shortest. Okay. I do believe. When I went to the open water national meet last year, I was doing the 5K, and there was a 7.5K and a 10K. And I said, no way. That is not for me, and that is, like, the 5K already is, I can easily say it's the hardest race, and the hardest race I've ever done. I could not even imagine. I mean, if my coach was like, oh, let's do it, I'd be like, okay, let's do it. I'd give it a go, but it would be hard.
You say it's hard. You sound like, no, I'm not going to do this. I would bet my house at some point in time you were going to swim that far.
I know. I do like to act like, oh, no, I can never do that. I'm not a big complainer, but I'll be like, yeah, no, like, there's no way. And then if my coach is like, oh, let's do this, I'm like, oh, okay.
Do you look forward to the outdoor races, the open swim races, or is it just as exciting as a dual meet in 2 weeks?
I try to look forward to every race. So, and even just like any individual race at a certain meet, I just try to go into it putting my best foot forward, ready to go. So just like the mindset, always being ready and being prepared for anything. So I can't say, I mean, I love being out in the sun, but there are different things that I look forward to in different races. So I would say it's about the same, but that is a lot. I look forward to all my races.
You are such a glass full person that I don't think there's you talked about the mental aspect of the sport and you weren't in the right place, but I don't see you being in that place a lot.
Oh, it happens. It absolutely happens, and I think speaking it really helps stay in that mindset, but I absolutely have my challenges. I have worked a ton with my coach, and especially being here again, going back to that mindset is because it is one of the most important things. It is something that I do struggle with at times, but again, I can talk through, and even like I said, that morning to finals through, or coach has us journal sometimes, and it has been like I contribute to so much of my success of being here is figuring out my mindset, and even if things slip up sometimes, learning how to get back on track. But mindset is huge.
When you're not getting up at 4:00 in the morning to go swim, because that's when swimmers are the earliest practicers of anybody I've ever known. People always talk about, football teams are now practicing in the morning. I go, they're 100 years behind swimmers because swimmers always got up at crack of dawn. What are you studying? What do you want to do?
I am in my senior year. I'm studying junior, senior.
You're a senior academically?
Yes, senior academically. Junior
eligibility-wise?
Yes, I am studying operations and supply chain management, and I'm minoring in business analytics, and I love it. I would say, so it is, I never really thought of myself as a math person, and I wouldn't say that it's very math heavy in terms of difficult equations, but it is like learning how to analyze the numbers, and I absolutely love it. I love all my teachers. I love all my classes. It is amazing.
Okay, it's an interesting degree, but
yes.
What does that mean you can do? What do you do?
So that is the title itself for both analytics and operations supply chain management. So operations, or managing the supply chain, that is just making sure things are in stock, finding the cheapest or the quality, whatever the company is focusing on, making sure that runs smoothly from product design to getting the consumer what they want, keeping all of that organized. Yes,
on steroids.
Yes.
Okay.
So organization, managing all the little pieces, looking at numbers, looking at alternatives, figuring out how to quickly solve problems if there's disruption, which we see a lot of that. That's a pretty big thing in the news, and that all goes back to operations supply chain management.
Shocking. You're going to do something that's very organized.
Yeah,
shocking.
I know.
Shocking. Ginger Kiefer headed to the Open Water Championships this weekend. She won it last year. She's trying for a double. We appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good luck, and stay upright, huh?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Go Vandals.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast. Thanks to all of our guests for being with us this week. Don't forget to join us each Tuesday night for more Vandal talk from the Idaho Vandal Coaches Show. That's live from 42 Bar Kitchen in Moscow. That's Tuesdays, 7 Pacific, 8 o'clock Mountain Time on the Idaho Vandals Radio Network. I'm Dennis Patchin saying thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time for another edition of the Idaho Vandal Insider Podcast.
This has been the Vandal Insider Podcast, presented by Inland Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Clinic of Moscow and Pullman. Let the team that takes care of the Vandals take care of you. Get the latest information on University of Idaho athletics you won't find anywhere else with the Vandal Insider Podcast. From in-depth conversations to game previews, the Vandal Insider is every fan's source for all things Idaho athletics.